Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus on the Enlightenment. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the ages, exploring one of the most pivotal moments in human history, the Enlightenment. This transformative era, which spanned the 17th and 18th centuries, was a time of great intellectual and cultural upheaval, as thinkers and scholars began to challenge traditional authority and seek answers through reason and scientific inquiry. As we delve into the origins of this remarkable period, let us transport ourselves to the bustling streets of 17th century Europe, where the seeds of the Enlightenment were sown. It was an era of great change and discovery, as scientists like Galileo Galilei, who in 1610 observed the heavens with his telescope, and Johannes Kepler, who in 1609 published his laws of planetary motion, were making groundbreaking observations about the natural world. In the Netherlands, the likes of René Descartes, who in 1637 published his Discourse on Method, and Baruch Spinoza, who in 1670 published his theological political treatise, were laying the philosophical foundations for a new era of critical thinking. Imagine yourself walking through the hallowed halls of the University of Oxford in the 1650s, where scholars like Thomas Hobbes and John Locke engaged in lively debates about the nature of human society and the role of government. The air was alive with the spirit of inquiry, as thinkers began to question traditional authority and seek new answers to age-old questions. In Italy, the Accademia delle Scienze, founded in 1603 by Prince Federico Sassi, provided a hub for scientific inquiry and discovery, attracting scholars like Galileo and Johannes Hevelius. The rise of humanism, with its focus on classical learning and individualism, also played a significant role in shaping the intellectual landscape of 17th century Europe. Scholars like Petrarch and Boccaccio had laid the groundwork for a renewed interest in classical texts, which in turn inspired a new generation of thinkers to explore the possibilities of human knowledge and creativity. The works of ancient Greeks like Aristotle and Plato, as well as those of modern thinkers like Francis Bacon, who in 1620 published his Novum Organum, were widely read and debated, influencing the development of Enlightenment thought. As we pause at the threshold of this momentous period, we can see the outlines of a new intellectual landscape taking shape. The old certainties of traditional authority and dogma were being challenged, and a new spirit of inquiry and curiosity was emerging. Join me as we embark on this fascinating journey and discover the remarkable story of the Enlightenment. Welcome, dear listeners, to the second part of our journey through the Enlightenment. As we delve into the heart of this transformative era, let us find ourselves in the midst of 18th century Europe, where the spirit of inquiry and critical thinking was reaching its zenith. It was an age of unparalleled intellectual and cultural fervor, as thinkers and scholars continued to challenge traditional authority and seek answers through reason and scientific inquiry. Imagine yourself strolling along the Seine in Paris, surrounded by the vibrant atmosphere of the city's salons, where luminaries like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Diderot engaged in lively debates about the nature of society, politics, and human knowledge. The air was alive with the spirit of intellectual curiosity, as these visionaries sought to redefine the boundaries of human understanding. In the nearby Palace of Versailles, the French monarchs, though still wielding absolute power, were increasingly influenced by the ideas of the Enlightenment, which would eventually contribute to the upheaval of the French Revolution. In England, the likes of Adam Smith and David Hume were making groundbreaking contributions to the fields of economics and philosophy. Smith's seminal work, The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, laid the foundations for modern capitalism, while Hume's philosophical treatises, such as a treatise of human nature published in 1739-1740, probed the depths of human understanding and morality. The Royal Society, founded in 1660, provided a hub for scientific inquiry, attracting scholars like Isaac Newton, who had published his Laws of Motion and Universal Gravitation in 1687, and Benjamin Franklin, who would conduct extensive research in electricity, As we explore the intellectual landscape of this era, we find that the concept of reason was being applied to various fields, from science and philosophy to politics and social reform. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant, with his Critique of Pure Reason, published in 1781, were redefining the boundaries of human knowledge, while others, such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, with his Social Contract, published in 1762, were envisioning new forms of governance and social organization. The idea that humans could improve their condition through education, science, and rational inquiry was gaining widespread acceptance, inspiring a sense of optimism and possibility. One of the most significant achievements of this period was the publication of the Encyclopédie, a monumental work edited by Denis Diderot and Jean-Laurent d'Alembert between 1751 and 1766. This comprehensive reference work brought together the knowledge of the time, covering subjects from science and technology to philosophy and art, and became a powerful symbol of the Enlightenment's commitment to disseminating knowledge and promoting critical thinking. As we reflect on this extraordinary era, we are reminded of the words of Immanuel Kant, who wrote, "Dare to know. Have courage to use your own understanding." This call to intellectual arms encapsulates the spirit of the Enlightenment, an era that celebrated human curiosity, creativity, and the pursuit of knowledge. As we prepare to leave this vibrant world behind, we can see how the ideas and achievements of this period continue to shape our understanding of the world today. Join me as we conclude our fascinating journey through the Enlightenment. Welcome to the final part of our journey through the Enlightenment. As we explore the decline and aftermath of this transformative era, let us find ourselves in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, where the intellectual and cultural landscape of Europe was undergoing significant changes. The French Revolution, which began in 1789, marked a turning point in the history of the Enlightenment. While the revolution's emphasis on liberty, equality, and fraternity was inspired by Enlightenment ideas, its violent excesses and eventual descent into authoritarianism led many to question the validity of these ideals. Thinkers like Edmund Burke, in his Reflections on the Revolution in France published in 1790, criticized the revolution's radicalism and argued that social change should be gradual and organic. In Germany, the rise of Romanticism, led by figures like Johann Gottlieb Fichte and Friedrich Schelling, challenged the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and universal principles. Romantics emphasized the importance of emotion, intuition, and national identity, paving the way for the development of nationalist and conservative movements in Europe. Despite these challenges, the Enlightenment's legacy continued to shape Western thought and society. The scientific revolution, which had begun during the Enlightenment, gained momentum in the 19th century, with major breakthroughs in fields like biology, chemistry, and physics. Thinkers like Auguste Comte and Herbert Spencer applied Enlightenment principles to the study of society, laying the foundations for modern sociology and social science. In politics, the Enlightenment's emphasis on individual rights, democracy, and constitutional government influenced the development of liberal democracies in Europe and North America. The American Revolution, which had been inspired by Enlightenment ideas, served as a model for later democratic movements, while the British Reform Act of 1832, which expanded voting rights and redrew electoral districts, marked an important step towards democratization. As we reflect on the decline and aftermath of the Enlightenment, we are reminded that this pivotal moment in human history was not a fixed or static entity, but rather a dynamic and complex process that continues to shape our world today. The Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, science, and individual rights has had a lasting impact on Western society, from the development of modern democracy and science to the ongoing quest for knowledge and understanding that defines our world. In conclusion, our journey through the Enlightenment has taken us from the fertile soil of 17th century Europe, where the seeds of this revolution in human thought were sown, to the vibrant world of 18th century salons and academies, where thinkers and scholars applied reason and critical thinking to various fields. As we have seen, the Enlightenment's legacy continued to influence Western thought and society, even as new challenges and criticisms arose. As we leave this fascinating era behind, we are reminded of the power of human curiosity, creativity, and the pursuit of knowledge, which continue to shape our understanding of the world today. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Enlightenment. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.